There are many forms of brioche knitting, and I'm going to show you how to do stockinette brioche. In stockinette brioche, you'll be knitting and brioche knitting or barking the right side stitches and purling and brioche purling or burping the wrong side stitches. In two-color brioche knitting, which is what we'll be doing, 2 rows are worked for each counted row. You'll work one color, row 1A, and slide the stitches back to the beginning to work the second color, row 1B. This is why you'll need circular needles or double-pointed straight needles. If you've never brioche before, the most important thing to know about is the yarn over. This is not a new stitch, but rather a shawl or a friend for the stitch on the needle. This stitch and its yarn over are counted as 1 stitch, and it's referenced as a slip-1 yarn over. It's made by bringing the yarn in front and slipping the stitch, which I will show you in just a second. Okay, so we need to work the setup row. And for that, we'll simply just be knitting across this first row of stitches. Brioche is a pretty fluffy fabric, so you want to go down a smaller needle size than what you would normally work with for that type of yarn, unless you want it really, loose. And especially if you're working with another fabric, you'll definitely want to go down to needle size to make sure that it's not sticking way past the edge of your other fabric. Okay, so you've knitted your first across this row. Now you're going to come back, slide the stitches back to the front here, and now you're going to pick up your second color. Now for the Hedge Maze and Pathways cowl, we work 3 selvage stitches on each end to create a little garter ridge stripy border. So we're just going to knit the first 3 stitches. Just knit, knit, knit. Now, here comes the slip-1 yarn over. With Continental knitting, you are already poised and ready. All you do is bring the yarn into the front of the needle and scoop, just slip the knit purlwise off that needle. There's your slip-1 yarn over. These are 1 stitch. They are friends. They never separate. Okay, now you're just gonna knit this and you're gonna slip 1 yarn over, knit, 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 slip 1 yarn over, and then you're going to knit your last 3 selvage stitches. Okay, now we're going to turn our work and we're going to start burping. So we're going to take color A, and we're going to knit the first 3 selvage stitches per usual. And then now we're going to burp this slip-1 yarn over and its stitch. So it's just purling, but you're purling them both together, so that's a burp. And now you're going to slip 1 yarn over, burp. Slip 1 yarn over, burp, and so on and so forth. And then knit your 3 selvage stitches. Okay, slide back to the beginning. Yarn management. And then we're gonna again knit those first 3 selvage stitches. Okay, and now we're gonna slip 1 yarn over, burp, slip 1 yarn over, burp, and so on and so forth. And what I love about Stockinette Brioche is that it creates this really beautiful, oops, I'm at my selvages already, really beautiful striping on the face, and then a really neat texture on the back, on the wrong side. I almost prefer the wrong side to the right side. It's so cool. Okay, we're back to the right side, and now I'm going to try and show you in English knitting. I am not very good at English knitting. I am definitely a continental knitter or a picker, so excuse my poor throwing. We're going to, of course, knit these first 3 selvage stitches, and then you're going to bark that first stitch. Then you're going to put the yarn in front and slip this stitch, making your slip 1 yarn over. And then you're going to bark, bring the yarn in front, slip 1, 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 bark, and then you'll knit the last 3 selvages. Slide the stitches to the beginning. Get your second color. Whoops. And there's your selvages again. Yarn in front, slip 1, bark. 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 Yarn in front, slip 1, and then knit your final 3. Okay, now for the real test of my English knitting. Purling and burping. Okay, get your yarns in order there. And here we go. Of course, we're going to knit these first 3 again. So funny how I just default to that left-hand setup. Okay, now we're going to burp. And then you're going to slip 1 yarn over. Now, you have to remember to bring the yarn back in front to do the next burp. So while the yarn is already in front, poised and ready for you to scoop, just like on the for Continentals on the knit side, you do have to bring the yarn back around so that you're ready for the burp. Slip 1 yarn over, burp. Slip 1 yarn over, burp. Slip 1, no, slip 1 yarn over, burp. And then knit 2, 3. Slide back to the beginning. Do this 1 more time. And I think for then you'll be able to see a little bit of the striping start to happen. Okay, yarn in front, slip 1. Bring the yarn back in front, purl, slip 1, burp. Should have said burp before. Slip 1, yarn back in front, burp. I lost my shawl. Did you see that? It just slipped off right there. Just scoop it back up, put it back on. Slip 1, yarn over, burp, slip 1, yarn, oops, slip 1, yarn over, burp, slip 1, yarn over. That's something weird there. And then 1, 2, 3. I don't know if you can really see how that starts to form this really neat kind of crisscrossy striping. But from the front, you can see these very definite, deliberate stripes. And that's kind of the cool thing about this, is that with Stockinette Brioche, it's really easy to see if you've gotten mixed up, because your stripes will not be consistent. You'll have one green stitch here or a gray stitch here, and you'll know, uh-oh, tinking is an adventure when you're new at brioche, but you know, just like everything in knitting, it will get easier as you do it. And you can create some really, really beautiful things with brioche. So stick with it, you know, give it a chance, and give yourself some time with it, and be patient, and have fun. All right, happy knitting.